100 players who shook the cop. Shook the cop.
He's a keeper, wasn't he?
Scott has to be seriously up there because he served for longer than any other keeper, and was really a powerhouse.
I never saw Elisha Scott play, but people I've spoken to say that he was possibly the greatest goalkeeper they've ever seen. He was at Liverpool 22 years, which is unbelievable.
Elisha Scott was from Belfast, and he was reasonably short for a keeper.
The contemporary reports describe him as lithe and cat-like in his agility. But I've spoken to Dixie Dean about Elisha Scott. I never actually met Elisha, but I knew Dixie quite well. And they had this fantastic rivalry in the 20s, Dixie Dean and Elisha Scott. And Dixie Dean said he was the best goalkeeper he'd ever seen or played against.
Scott and Dean, Elisha that is, and Dixie Dean were very close friends off the pitch. And they used to have real scraps against each other for year after year after year throughout the late 20s and the 30s. Scott was notorious for quite a tough guy, and his language was, I think we would say, industrial nowadays.
And you could hear it all round the ground, and there were no holds barred. And what made it worse was in front of him was Tom Jackson, who was actually a parson, and his own centre-half, and he often had to tell him, Elisha, do mind your language, because you're offending me, not to mention other people, and the crowd can hear it. And, he used to swear his head off, apparently.
And he'd have this funny little rigmarole of, I apologise, excuse me, forgive me, A few seconds later it'd be whatever, Then this little scene would play out again. I mean, what a character.
There is this wonderful story that on the day of a derby match, Elisha, a messenger came in and gave Elisha a brown paper parcel, and he opened it and it was a bottle of aspirins, and it said, thought you might be needing these, yours Dixie, because he's going to play against him. But although they had this great rivalry, there was a great love between the men, and they used to meet after matches at the Lisbon pub in the centre of Liverpool and drink Guinness. Dixie and Elisha, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall to have heard their discussions, but Dixie said they were incredible. So, an absolute hero of Liverpool, and I never saw him. I have seen the great keepers since, well, some of them anyway. Ray Clements, obviously a fantastic keeper, Bruce Grobbelaar, but as I say, people who saw Scott and who saw them say he was the best, so I don't know, but he was certainly, obviously, a great, great goalkeeper.